Have you ever met a woman who can turn heartbreak into humor, struggles into success, and pain into pure entertainment? Meet Rosangela Suazo, or as the world knows her, Zoe Victoria Suazo, the unstoppable Honduran queen who took TikTok by storm. She's not just another pretty face dancing to reggaeton beats, she's a fierce single mom, a fearless immigrant, and a fiery Latina who knows exactly how to shake up the internet with her savage jokes, raw truths, and spicy little stories that leave you craving more. From the dusty streets of Choluteca to the bright lights of American fame, Zoe carved a throne for herself in the digital empire, unapologetic, unfiltered, and unforgettable. This isn't just a story about another influencer. This is the rise of a woman who refused to stay silent, who dared to show her real scars, and who turned her struggles into the hottest stage for millions worldwide. Stay with me as we dive deep into the world of Zoe Victoria Suazo. Because behind every viral clip, there's a truth wilder than fiction. She was born in the warm heart of Choluteca, Honduras, a place where dusty streets meet golden sunsets, and where every child learns early that dreams come with a price. For little Rosangela Suazo, life was never handed on a silver plate. She grew up seeing her mother's tired hands, feeling the silent sacrifices in every humble meal on their worn wooden table. But deep within her eyes, there was always a hidden flame, a fierce belief that she was meant for something beyond the narrow roads of her village. Then came the day everything changed, the journey to America. Imagine a young girl clutching her mother's hand, staring out of a plane window for the first time, watching the clouds like giant cotton castles of hope. Crossing borders isn't just about entering a new country, it's about leaving behind a language, a culture, and pieces of yourself you can never take with you. But that was the price Zoe paid to chase a new life, and it planted in her a resilience sharper than steel. Today, when you watch her mocking life's hardships with laughter, know that behind every comedic skit is a migrant's tear she learned to hide. Her journey from the dusty streets of Honduras to the paved roads of America is not just geography, it's a living testament to courage, sacrifice, and the bittersweet taste of survival. And perhaps, that's what makes her comedy so dangerously real, it carries the echoes of a little girl who once dreamt beyond her borders. It was the year 2020, a year when the world fell silent, streets emptied, and fear lingered like an uninvited shadow in every home. But while millions were locked away scrolling endlessly through their phones, one woman decided to rise. Rosangela Suazo, known to the world as Zoe Victoria Suazo, stepped onto TikTok not as a timid newcomer, but as a fearless storyteller ready to flip the script. At first, her videos were simple, shaky phone footage, raw lighting, just her unfiltered voice echoing truths so many kept hidden. But quickly, something magical happened. Her comedic sketches, those 15-second stories about life as a migrant, as a single mother, as a Latina woman in a world that often overlooks her people, began to resonate like wildfire. Views exploded from hundreds to thousands, then to millions, in what felt like the blink of an eye. She mastered the art of microcomedy, slicing reality into sharp, hilarious moments no one could scroll past. Her followers didn't just laugh, they saw themselves in her. Women heard their own mothers in her dramatic scoldings, immigrants felt the sting and sweetness of her migration jokes, and every person living through silent struggles found hope in her loud, unapologetic laughter. By the end of 2020, Zoe was no longer just another face in the crowd. She had built an empire of relatable comedy, transforming her pain, her loneliness, and her deepest cultural memories into a global stage. In a time when everyone felt trapped and voiceless, she became a voice so loud it shattered walls, the voice of a woman who turned her phone camera into a throne, and her tears into the most powerful punchlines the internet had ever seen. If you've ever scrolled past Zoe Victoria Suazo's videos, you'd know one thing instantly: she's not here to post just another pretty selfie or trendy dance. Her content is an entire universe wrapped into 30 seconds of explosive, unapologetic truth. She crafts short satirical sketches that pull you into the messy, hilarious, and sometimes painful realities of life. In one video, she's the overprotective Honduran mother yelling in rapid-fire Spanish, her hands waving like swords of discipline. In the next, she's the tired immigrant coming home after a 12-hour shift, still finding the humor in her aching bones and silent tears. She mocks the stereotypes forced on Latina women, she laughs at the illusions of perfection on social media, and she tears apart the toxic expectations society chains onto single mothers like her. But there's something even deeper in her comedy, a daring tenderness. When she jokes about her kids driving her insane, you see her hidden love. When she acts out dramatic scenes of migration struggles, you hear unspoken stories from millions of silent voices. Her skits on family life, parenting chaos, romantic betrayals, and cultural clashes aren't just comedy, they are raw diaries of real life disguised in sarcasm and laughter. That is Zoe's true magic. She doesn't create content just to entertain, she creates it to remind us that behind every joke is a broken truth, behind every punchline is an unhealed scar, and behind every laugh is a powerful woman refusing to be silent. Her content isn't just funny, it's healing, rebellious, and fearlessly human. Behind every viral video, every comedic punchline, and every sassy Honduran rant lies a truth so raw it humbles you. Zoe Victoria Suazo is not just an influencer, she is a warrior mother. She carries the silent badge of being a single mom, a title that holds both crushing weight and an unbreakable pride. In her quiet moments, away from TikTok filters and camera lights, she's the woman who wakes up before dawn to prepare school lunches, braid tiny braids, and wipe sleepy tears off little cheeks before the sun rises. Yet what makes her content powerful is how she refuses to hide this reality. Instead, she blends her motherhood seamlessly into her videos, from comedic skits about her kids' mischief, to raw reflections on parenting exhaustion and silent loneliness. She jokes about tantrums in supermarkets, spilled milk on freshly cleaned floors, and the bittersweet ache of hugging her child after a long day of invisible battles. But beyond the humor is something magnetic. Her motherhood isn't portrayed as a burden. It is her pride, her fuel, her ultimate storyline. Every joke she makes about disciplining her kids or faking energy after a draining day is lined with love so deep it seeps through the screen. That's why mothers across the world, whether in Honduras, the US, or beyond, see themselves in her. They find hope in her exhaustion, laughter in her chaos, and power in her vulnerability. For Zoe, motherhood is not an obstacle to her dreams, it is the very reason she wakes up each day to fight harder. And in sharing these truths without shame, she doesn't just entertain her audience, she gives them permission to love their scars, embrace their struggles, and laugh through the tears. If you truly want to understand the power of Zoe Victoria Suazo, you only need to watch one of her legendary videos, Cuando se van para la USA. This isn't just a comedic clip, it's a raw cultural mirror held up to the migrant experience, polished with her signature sarcastic sparkle. In these sketches, she acts out the bittersweet absurdities of immigrants who return to their homeland flaunting luxuries, forgetting the sacrifices that bought them. She exaggerates every tiny detail, from their fake accents to their flashy clothes, with a precision that makes you laugh and wince all at once. The world couldn't scroll past these clips. On YouTube alone, the second part of this series exploded to over 6.3 million views, while her TikTok versions gathered millions more. But what makes these videos truly unforgettable isn't just the comedy, it's the quiet truths buried beneath every joke. Each scene whispers to viewers, you know these people. You've met them. You might even be them. Her skits became viral because they tapped into something universal among immigrant communities, the tension between pride and humility, success and sacrifice, home and exile. Beyond this series, her other viral masterpieces include Quien Quiere Trabajar Conmigo, a video reaching nearly 1.7 million views, where she embodies the exhausted immigrant mother calling for help with chores in a house that never stops demanding. Her facial expressions alone tell 1,000 stories of fatigue, humor, hidden pain, and unapologetic resilience. These videos aren't just hits because they're funny. They are viral because they are fearless. They expose cultural truths without filters, they tell secrets usually hidden in family gossip, and they remind millions of viewers that the harshest realities can become the strongest laughs when told by a woman brave enough to speak them out loud. To truly understand Zoe Victoria Suazo, you must first understand what it means to be catracha. For Hondurans, this word is more than a nickname, it's a badge of fierce identity, worn with unbreakable pride. And for Zoe, her catracha roots aren't just part of her biography, they are the soul of her entire creative universe. In almost every video she posts, whether it's a comedic sketch or a casual dance, her Honduran culture bursts through the screen like vivid colors on a festival day. The way she speaks, her slang, her accent, her rhythm, carries the musical cadence of Choluteca's streets. She doesn't just add reggaeton beats to her clips for popularity, she uses them to ground her content in the pulse of her people, to remind viewers that behind the comedy is a woman who grew up dancing barefoot on sunburnt soil to cumbia and punta. You'll often hear her shout "Soy catracha" with a playful smirk, as if daring the world to challenge her pride. And in her skits, she embodies every Latina archetype, the fiery mother, the gossiping neighbor, the stubborn grandmother, but she does it with a distinctly Honduran twist that makes her relatable not just to Latinos in general, but specifically to those who know the taste of bailadas and the smell of rainy evenings in Tegucigalpa. Through her videos, Zoe has transformed her culture from a hidden immigrant identity into a global stage. She reclaims Honduran traditions and jokes that might otherwise remain trapped in kitchen whispers or rural fiestas, and she projects them into the international spotlight with unapologetic brilliance. In doing so, she gives her people something priceless: representation, dignity, and the pride of seeing their stories, music, and struggles told boldly to millions worldwide. When you look at the numbers behind Zoe Victoria Suazo's name, you realize quickly, this isn't just another influencer story, this is a digital empire built from raw authenticity and fearless comedy. On TikTok alone, her kingdom thrives with over 2.2 million loyal followers, each video gathering waves of likes that now exceed 23 million in total. Swipe over to her YouTube, and you'll find a channel with more than 468,000 subscribers, but what's even more striking is the sheer impact. Her videos have amassed over 124 million views, an ocean of eyes witnessing her unapologetic truths and comedic brilliance. On Facebook, her official page boasts 1.08 million followers, making her a household name among Honduran and Latino families worldwide, where her videos circulate from grandmothers' phones to teenagers' feeds, uniting generations in laughter. Meanwhile, Instagram adds another layer to her influence, with over 750,000 followers, where she shares unfiltered selfies, powerful motivational captions, and behind-the-scenes glimpses into her life as a creator and mother. But Zoe's success isn't just about these towering numbers. It's about diversity of reach. Each platform gives her a different microphone to speak into different hearts. TikTok fuels her comedic virality, YouTube gives her space for longer, storytelling skits, Facebook taps into families and older generations across Latin America, and Instagram allows her to craft a personal, visual brand that solidifies her as a public figure beyond short videos. She understands a truth many creators miss: if you speak in only one room, your voice fades quickly. But if you stand in every room, every platform, and every stage, your voice becomes an echo impossible to ignore. And that is exactly what Zoe Victoria Suazo has built. She is not just a TikToker or a YouTuber, she is an unstoppable digital phenomenon whose influence pulses across platforms, borders, and languages, a woman whose story refuses to stay silent, no matter where you scroll. For many influencers, their world begins and ends on a glowing phone screen. But for Zoe Victoria Suazo, her dreams have always been bigger than pixels and viral views. In late 2024, she took a step that many creators only fantasize about. She walked onto a real stage, under real lights, in front of a living, breathing crowd. That night, in the bustling heart of Austin, Texas, Zoe stood alongside the legendary Dominican merengue king, Tono Rosario, performing in a show that blurred the lines between comedy, music, and cultural celebration. Imagine the scene: a hall pulsing with Caribbean rhythms, fans screaming as Tono Rosario's iconic beats electrify the air, and there she was, Zoe Victoria Suazo, the Honduran TikTok queen, sharing that spotlight, her laughter echoing alongside merengue's hypnotic melodies. For her fans, this was more than entertainment. It was a powerful validation that their favorite creator was no longer confined to short screens. She had become part of the living culture they dance to, sing to, and celebrate with pride. This collaboration wasn't just another event in her calendar. It was a statement that Zoe's talents transcend hashtags and trending audios. Her comedic timing, her fearless presence, and her natural charisma make her a magnetic force both online and on stage. Each time she steps out of the digital world and into live performances, she solidifies her brand as an entertainer, not just a content creator. She builds bridges between cultures, generations, and art forms, reminding everyone watching that laughter, like music, knows no borders. And for Zoe, these stages are only the beginning. Because when a woman with her power finally tastes the roar of a crowd and the warmth of stage lights, the world better watch out, She is coming for every stage, every city, and every heart that dares to listen. At the end of every scroll, every like, every viral laugh, there remains one undeniable truth. Zoe Victoria Suazo is far more than a content creator. She is a living testament to resilience. For millions of women, especially single mothers, she stands as a glowing reminder that broken dreams can be reborn into something even more beautiful. When they watch her videos, they don't just see a comedian mocking life's chaos, they see a woman who has lived that chaos, survived it, and turned it into pure gold. She inspires women like my sister, and perhaps even yours, the silent warriors raising children alone, fighting battles no one sees, carrying invisible scars with silent grace. Through her comedy, Zoe tells them, "You are not alone." She shows them that motherhood is not a prison, but a crown, that being a migrant is not a shame, but a badge of unmatched courage, and that laughter is not weakness, but the purest form of defiance. Here at Gorgeous Models, where we celebrate powerful women from every corner of the world, Zoe's story hits deep. Because she proves that beauty is not just in flawless makeup or perfect photo shoots. True beauty is in raw scars turned into art, in pain reshaped into purpose, in tears transformed into jokes that heal others. Zoe Victoria Suazo is the example the world needs right now, a fearless woman who took her hardest truths and turned them into a stage, who turned her phone camera into a window of hope for millions. And in doing so, she doesn't just inspire, she awakens the warrior spirit sleeping within every woman who ever doubted her worth.